Welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings, with me, Gretta Chamberlain, and the Realm of Beings. Shifting Impressions, which is one of the vehicles that supports the transmission of the Realm of Beings, is here to assist you in delving into your being by providing numerous topics and discussions for you to intake as you deepen your connection with your inner world. Shifting Impressions is here to assist you in strengthening yourself as you excavate to understand your true nature. Join us today and learn to shift your mindset, shift your thoughts, and shift your focus to recreate your life and produce a new you. Shifting Impressions starts now.
Hello and welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings. I'm Carol and I'm here with my co-hosts Gretta, Kathleen, and of course the Realm of Beings. Don't forget you can experience Shifting Impressions and see the latest news, programs, etc. by tuning into our website www.therealmofbeings.com, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Transformation Network, or any of your favorite streaming platforms. A reminder, please follow and like us on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you. You'll find us listed as Shifting Impressions. We at Shifting Impressions are very happy to be here on Transformation Network every Friday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time and 8 a.m. Pacific. Listeners and viewers, if you're new to the podcast, thank you for joining us and being part of this experience. These conversations will help you to look at your life and your creation of reality, to see what you're creating, how it shows up, and how to help you gain perspective so you can learn to shift what you're creating and create what you want. So welcome everyone to new listeners and viewers to the podcast. Each week, Gretta shares with us a quote given to her from the Realm of Beings, which the three of us will discuss. And later on in the show, the realm will come in and give us their expansion of the quote. This week, the quote is, "There are no mistakes in life. Everything you experience serves a purpose. So we encourage you to examine what you have created and determine if you wish to continue with the experience or release the energy of it and let it go out of your life. This is your divine right." And whenever I talk to someone new about creation of reality, the first thing I explain is that you are creating at all times, whether you're aware of it or not, whether you like it or not. And I think a key here is we remind everyone there's no such thing as good and bad, but there are low vibrational energies and high vibrational energies. And the purpose is to learn lessons. So what we consider mistakes are really just a way of learning a lesson. And it's up to us to choose, do we want to learn a lesson in a low vibrational state and make it challenging, or do we want to make it with our divine right to make it a high vibrational experience? But regardless of what we're creating, we are learning something from it. Everything happens for a reason. I'm sure people use that expression all the time. There's no such thing as coincidence. Well, there's also no such thing as mistakes. Everything is to help you learn your lesson. So who wants to go first this week?
Notice silence.
Yeah, I can hear the crickets. Kathy, why don't you chime in, please?
Well, because I was sitting there looking at the one from last week, Eliminate Fear, because it's an illusion and it's still a way of learning a lesson. And I'm just looking at how important it is to really release and let go of what does not bring you joy and perfect health in your life. And, I'm thinking about people who experience certain health conditions and health challenges, and how your body is telling you that you're holding on to little hurts and things like that. And, you have to it's so critical, it's so crucial that we understand that we create the illnesses that we experience from our emotions and thoughts, and not letting go and holding on to unwanted garbage. Garbage in, garbage out. You got to let it go. And
Exactly.
when you don't, the lessons that you learn is you learn the lessons the way that you said, in the way that you may not want to experience learning that lesson. What's it? The two roads not taken. One's the gentle stream,
Yes.
and one is the big raging river. Some people like the river, and it's okay.
Exactly.
I think that's important to say too. If you like with Greta with the snakes and the spiders in her house, hey, she learned she didn't want to be there, so she came up and left all, and she let it go. She let it go, and ET phoned home. So go ahead, Greta.
That is so funny, Kathy. But I think the thing that Carol mentioned out of that quote is that there are no mistakes and that everything happens for a reason. What we want to find out is individually
What the reason?
What the reason is. That's important because it's not, if you have a disease that you're experiencing or a cold or something like that, it's not enough just to take the aspirin or take the antibiotic, to get rid of it. Sure, you've gotten rid of it at that level, but you haven't gotten rid of it at the
unconscious.
Right. And I would even say at the level of cause.
Well, yeah, that's
right.
a good way to phrase it.
Right. At the level of cause. So, the realm said, we encourage you to examine what you have created and see. When Kathy brings in last week's thing that we did on fear, that sometimes helps people or supports people in not looking at why they created something.
Exactly.
So when you don't understand, and you might not understand it thoroughly, but even if you understand a part of it, that's still good, because then that's what's going to help you to cut the ties with the energy that's producing that for you. So it's not to be afraid of it, but it's to really look at it and say, why in the heck, did I create this? Because
it's not always obvious either, is it, Greta?
Right. I know a lot.
So sometimes you have to really dig that deep and examine it.
Absolutely.
And then people who can do, and those that can't, it's a struggle for them. They don't want to accept that they create their own reality. And, it's hard to, I know we just don't facilitate with people that don't understand that you create your own reality. It's just that simple, because that means you're not able to, it's like all good teachers always reassess their teaching. And I always did that. And even now I'm always reassessing, why did I create this? Why am I experiencing that? Do I want to experience it? Why am I not letting it go yet? Why am I holding on to this? Is it bringing me joy? But sometimes, for me, to be quite honest with you, and the audience, sometimes I just don't know why I am thinking or doing or experiencing what I'm creating, until I step back. And sometimes when I step back, even if I do take that step back, I still need to really get down to the nitty gritty. And sometimes it takes a while for me personally.
Oh, it takes a while for everybody.
Because you can hold on to that lesson for 60 years. And when you finally get to it, you have that aha moment. It's like, oh, okay, just let it go. But for some people, they can learn just like that. So just think of the lessons. It's some lessons you do learn like that. Am I right, Greta? Some you learn quickly. Some you have to go back and do a little reteaching. And to me, I equate this to like reteaching. Do you really, do you really know why you did this? And you got the wrong answer. Well, it's not really the wrong answer, but is it the answer that you need to move forward on this
Right.
exam, And it's sort of like that.
Because there, the interesting part to segue from what you said, Kathy, there is no wrong or right answer, really. Because everything, I don't care how horrible it looks, is teaching you a lesson. And being in this reality, on this earth at this time, it's a lesson for us. It's a lesson. Everything is a lesson. If you get a paper cut, you gave it to yourself. So then, and sure, it stings. If anybody's had paper cuts, that those
Ooh,
things are the nice
wicked.
things to deal with, and to us, having done that, we would automatically go into that was a mistake. I grabbed the paper in the wrong way, and that's how I cut my finger. That was a mistake. But see, in reality, it's not a mistake because then we say, what's a cut? It's an accident. Accidents, as we've told the audience before, the mental equivalency is
Anger.
right? Anger. So I'm angry about something. Then we can use Louise Hay or Jacques Martel or any other writings that give mental equivalencies. And then we got to figure out what finger did I put the paper cut on, because that's significant as well. So everything for us as humans has significance. You're trying to go to work and you decide to take the bus and you miss the bus by 10 minutes. You created to miss the bus. So then
Yeah, there is a reason.
yeah, why did I miss the bus? Because now I'm going to be late for work. Why do I want to be late for work? Maybe I don't want to be there. See, there's so many things, and it's to our advantage to look at it and say, why did I do that? Why did I create that?
That's the most important question, I think, is the why.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here's another challenge, and maybe I'm wrong or whatever, but
no such thing, no wrong.
Okay. You're right. It's gone. We're learning our lessons with other people who are learning their lessons simultaneously with us, and we are interacting with these people. And sometimes, sometimes it can add another layer or dimension as to how you even examine anything, or you can see their lesson, but then I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly. It's like you don't want to get caught up in someone else's creation of reality, but we do.
But you're supporting it because it creates support,
and
create.
That's the law. That's the law of the universe. So maybe the realm could say, how do we learn our lessons in such a way that we are not supporting someone else's lessons to the detriment of our own?
Well, that answer is something we've been giving throughout the entire podcast since we started, and that is love yourself.
Love yourself unconditionally.
Absolutely. Because the more you love yourself unconditionally, the creations of reality are going to change for you, because you're changing your frequency by which you're operating. And so that's what that is about, loving yourself.
So that person that you're supporting that you think you don't want to support will probably just drift out of your life more or less, right?
Absolutely. Because I have so many people now, once they start saying that 7 sentence affirmation that we've given on this podcast, they tell me, they said, it's interesting, but my friends are changing, or there's certain friends that I used to be with that are no longer with me. And that's because you're changing yourself. You're changing the frequency by what you operate. And the frequency of operation can increase when you find out why you created something that you don't want. Because then you can say, like what the title of the podcast today is, Release and Let Go. So you release all that stuff. There's no need to keep it. It's like if you're in your house, you don't save your garbage. You throw it out.
Some people do if they're
I was
hoarders.
going to say some people do.
Well, then that's another whole issue.
Yeah.
But most of us gather up the garbage, we throw it out, or we recycle. Now, to me, a recycle would be equivalent to looping. We're recycling the same husband, or we're recycling the same friend, or we're recycling the same illness.
Mm.
And that's like a recycle to me. The garbage dump that's where I'm putting this. I did it. I went through it. Now I don't want it anymore.
I'm done.
But it's like clearing your house. But sometimes, Greta, let's just be perfectly honest. Sometimes it's hard to it's easier for some people to let go of things. Like it all depends on for me, what I've discovered with myself, the emotional attachment to something. Like I couldn't believe that I had a diary that I wrote when I was 14 years old. And I'm reading through it and all of these thoughts and how I was crazy over this boy and all that sadness. And I said, why do I still have this? And every time I went to throw it out, I saved it. I went to throw it out and I saved it. I think it might have been about 5 or 6 years ago, I pulled that diary out and I said, wow, it's time for this to go. But it was very hard to do. And so when I tried to set it on fire, do you know it wouldn't burn?
I don't think that's the only way to get rid of something, Kathy.
I ripped it all up the little page.
Set it on fire.
But what I'm saying is sometimes it's hard to let go of things because you aren't finished with it or you don't know how to release it.
Exactly. I agree with you there. And to be honest, I'm literally the opposite. I throw things away right away. I'm like, I don't need this garbage. And looking back, there are things I wish I had held on to. I think I might have been too quick to release things. So, and some of the things I should release, I don't, but it's, you do what you have to.
It's called being human. It's called being human.
Exactly.
I think. I don't know. The realm may say, no, it's not because of being human. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know.
I think people are very quick to accept that they're creating their own reality when what they deem as good things are happening to them. But the moment something challenging occurs that they don't like, they forget. All of a sudden, it's somebody else's fault.
Or something happened to them that they created.
To them, exactly. And they don't understand they did it to themselves.
And they refuse to accept that.
Well, a lot of people...
They hold on to it and they're unable to release it.
Exactly.
And all it does is lead to other challenges, whether they're psychological, emotional, physical. I mean,
exactly.
That's been my observation, even with temporarily with myself, because when I said, well, wait a minute, why am I doing that? So like I said, some things are easy to let go.
Exactly.
And some things aren't, because they don't really hold that value for you anymore. But, some things like a photograph, my daughter's like, oh, just scan it and throw that out. Why would I throw out a photograph that's over 100 years old that's of my great aunt? See, that has sentimental value to me. And I think it depends on depends on the individual, but we're not really speaking about things like that. We're talking about holding on to emotions and thoughts that are detrimental to us. Am I correct in that?
Well,
that's how I took it.
Right. But you know what, Kathy, I think everything that you hang on to has that.
Because it has energy.
right? And
Everything has
everything,
energy.
we're hanging on to things. We hang on to people. We hang on to clothes. You know, I have a I have a suit that, I have a velvet suit that I used to be able to get into. I can't. So I've still got it in my closet saying, yes,
One
one
day.
One day. And ironically, the other day, I was thinking about this sweatshirt I had that I got rid of years ago. And I said, damn, I wish I had that sweatshirt today. So I think I need to perhaps look more closely at what I release and make sure I'm releasing it for the right reasons.
Absolutely, absolutely. But what are the right reasons? We
Am I
determine,
learning a lesson, I would say?
right?
Would that be it?
And I think so, but it's we determine if we've learned the lesson or not. That's the bottom line. We're the determiners of that. And we're the determiners of how we're going to learn it. We're the determiners of,
Who we gonna learn it with?
yep. And have we figured it out while we're doing it?
And where we gonna learn it?
Right,
That sounds
absolutely.
like a lot of responsibility.
It is. That's why we tell people you don't have time, really. When you're really solidly dealing with yourself, you don't have time to blame other people, to try to get in their businesses, trying to control them. The amount of energy that you're trying to use to control somebody else could be turned around.
Working on yourself.
That's right. So nobody has time for to do that. It's I know for myself, for me to stay in focus about what I'm supposed to be doing is enough. Some days I don't even want to hear about somebody else, what they're trying to do. I know I do. I'm not talking about the facilitations. I'm just talking about, just naturally talking and exchanging things, ideas and so forth. And I really find that, I don't know, I'm getting like my great grandpa. I remember when there was an accident on the expressway. They had opened up the expressway and then there was an accident. You had to look down on the expressway, but our house was up and above it. And everybody ran out there to go see the accident. Everybody wanted to see, wow, because the helicopters were coming, the fire trucks were out there, the ambulances were out there. I mean, it was a big to-do. My mother went running out of the house to go across to look down and see what was going on. And I said, maybe I should go there myself and check it out. I said, Grandpa, look what's happening. Do you want to come and see? Of course, he was 90 years old. He didn't care about that. And so he told me, he said, daughter, I've seen a lot in my life. I don't need to see that. I said, oh, okay, Grandpa.
And
So
that's low vibrational energy anyway. Why subject yourself to it?
absolutely, absolutely. But we do it out of how many people want to look and find out what's happening.
Everybody. That's what causes traffic jams on the highways, because everybody's got to slow down to look and see. And I don't know if sometimes it's because you're looking at it in a sense that, well, thankfully it wasn't me that was in that accident, or you're just curious, or you just are morbid and want to see if somebody died at the accident. I mean, there's a lot of individual reasons that people do that. But I mean, I think my thing is stop trying to figure out somebody else's lessons and work on your own.
Absolutely, absolutely. But
Most people
that can
don't
be
even know their
challenging.
lessons.
Absolutely, Carol. And it can be challenging to do that. I want to tell my horse story.
Oh,
You had a
please do.
horse?
No, but I
Oh.
want to tell my horse story.
Oh.
That's one of my fears. I don't like to get up on horses. They're too big.
Don't either.
Yeah. I'll admit it. I'll really admit it. Sharon took me to the place. She said, "Come on, Greta, you can do this." But that's not the horse story I was telling you about. And this one just came up. I was walking in the downtown area. I must have been in my 20s or early 30s. I do not know what possessed me. I happened to see this taxi cab driver was being pulled over by this policeman who was riding a horse.
Horse, yeah.
Okay. She was trying to get him to stop. You know, that man, it was a man, did not want to stop and kept trying to edge his way. And, you know, I felt so I guess I went into saviorhood or something because I started screaming on the street, literally downtown, screaming on the street. He's now, now the policewoman is sitting on top of the horse, right? You know
Right.
what I'm screaming? He's trying to kill the horse. I didn't say he's trying to kill the policeman. I said he's trying to kill the horse. And I screamed out loud. I'm telling you, by the time people stopped, people around, I swear to God, I must have accrued at least 50 people. They said, "What's
Wow.
happening?" I said, look, he's trying to kill the horse. And everybody went, "Oh my God." I mean, it was a whole crew of people. We were now all looking at this taxi driver saying, "You're trying to kill the horse," right? And that man, there were so many people there now that he stopped. He stopped and he was so angry with me. His eyes just looked at me and I just looked back at him as well, you know. And of course, the police woman, she said, "Oh, thank you so much." I said, "You're welcome." But it just came over me. I just started screaming like a banshee. You
I
know,
would have been
about
more
the horse.
concerned about the horse than the person and myself, but you know. All right, ladies, we need to take a short break. We are at that part of the program. And when we return, listeners and viewers, we will be talking with the realm. And it will be about this week's quote. So please stay with us. We'll take just a short break and be right back. Thank you, listeners and viewers. Welcome back to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings. We have reached that portion of the show where the realm is coming through Gretta, and they will comment further on the quote that they have given us. So, Realm, can you confirm you're with us, and how are you?
Yes, we are all present.
Wonderful. We love when you're here. All right, this week's
to be here.
Oh, perfect. It's so nice when everything dovetails together perfectly. This week we're continuing the theme about releasing and letting go. The quote that you have given was, "There are no mistakes in life. Everything you experience serves a purpose." So we encourage you to examine what you have created and determine if you wish to continue with the experience or release the energy of it and let it go out of your life. This is your divine right. So, Realm, please take it away.
We have given quotes that are very similar to this, on other podcasts. But we felt that it was important for us to give this again and to give it in a different way. And want to begin with that last sentence in our quote is, this
is your divine right.
Divine right, absolutely. We want to begin there because we want to begin to say again to people, all of you are divine. Maybe you don't particularly care for somebody, and that's all right too, because the part that you don't care about is their personality. But under that personality, as we have said before, is your divinity. And everybody has divinity. I don't care if it's a person that you perceive to be a thief, or somebody who has killed somebody, or somebody who has, done some other heinous things that you don't find very appealing. But the bottom line is that is the personality. Underneath, you are divine. Each one of us is divine. Now, with that thought of embracing divinity, then we're going to look at, which is not included in our quote today, we're going to look at empowerment. Empowerment. Because you are divine, you can call up your empowerment. Some people call it power. You're never without it, ever, because it's the energy. So you're never without the energy, and the energy is what you're using to create your reality. So within your divinity, you have given yourself this lesson because you want to experience it for your own growth. See, everything, and people have heard us say this, and others have said it as well, everything is working for our good. When we look at it, it may not seem that way. It may not appear that way. But once you take and go inside yourselves internally, not outwardly, seek the answers internally. Once you go there and you question yourself over and over again to get down to the bottom of why you created the thing in the first place, that is your divine right. That is your divinity. You're going into the self that created the lesson for your growth. Everything is created by you for your growth. And from the growth, we become stronger and stronger. That's why last week, when we talked about fear, we said, what is fear? Fear can be debilitating, but at the same token, let's look at the debilitation and understand that that very thing made us stronger individuals. So that is one reason why we also say that everything is always working for your good. There's nothing that is not working for your good. The thing is to stop and take a look at what is it? What is it? Look, see the roses, smell the roses. So smell the roses within that chaos. That's where you want to be, able to smell the roses within the chaos. Because the chaos is external, whereas the roses represent that which is internal, that is within you, you see. So take the time to look at each thing and what goes along with that, because if you see yourselves as divine, then there's no need to beat up on yourselves because you created a certain reality that you no longer want. It's okay. It's okay. And either when you're looking at another person and you say, oh my God, how could that person do that? Notice that it is being done by way of personality, you see. The solution, however, is going to be done through divinity, your divineness, you see. I feel there are questions.
I actually just had a thought.
Anyone?
When people are always saying, what is my purpose here? What is my purpose in life? I think you gave the
Purpose?
exact answer.
Everything, that's interesting. Every reality that you create, regardless of what it is in alignment with your purpose.
Mm.
I'm going to say that again.
Mm.
Everything that you create, regardless of how it appears, is in alignment with your purpose at all times.
And if my purpose is to understand that it is important that my lesson is to learn to practice loving myself unconditionally, then one can also conclude that what you just said about the purpose, the learning, oh Lord, I got all confused in that. I think you understand what I'm saying. I'm supposed to experience it.
And it's for our growth.
And because it's for my growth and demonstrating, proving, actually learning to love myself unconditionally even more, regardless of what it is, what's going on, who it's with, or whatever. I must, for my own personal growth, love myself unconditionally.
Absolutely. And that is in alignment with your purpose.
Right. That's why I couldn't remember what you said, alignment with the purpose.
Absolutely. Everything that you go through is in alignment. It's never out of alignment.
And even work, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Kathy.
I was thinking even, like with the work that I do now with you, the facilitations, I have to be able to explain to those who wish to expand their own understanding of their creation of reality and heal themselves, I have to be able to understand exactly to the, improve my own understanding of how you create your reality. So I guess part of my purpose throughout my whole life then has been preparing me to do this with Greta and Carol and everything that we're doing now.
You can say that. You can say that you have prepared yourself for this in many ways. But the bottom line, even if you didn't prepare yourself for something, on the conscious level, you wouldn't prepare yourself to stub your toe,
No, I certainly would not.
but yet the stubbing of the toe is in alignment because stubbing the toe is teaching you something about yourself so that you can reach down deep into your divinity of who you truly are and say, wow, I was angry today,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That type of thing. So there's nothing out of alignment. There are no mistakes. You're never out of alignment. You just think you are. There's no such thing as someone being higher than another in any way, shape, or form. Everyone is equal because in the trueness of everything, we are all in oneness, you see. The experiences that we share with each other through our personalities assist us in reaching back into ourselves to say that I am loving myself tremendously as I experience my alignment with force,
Oh, I love that.
of which I am, you see. So purpose, Carol, you began us on this journey. Purpose. The main purpose is loving ourselves. Because when you love yourself, Carol, because there's only oneness, guess what?
You love everything and everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, my point of bringing that up was that people ask that question, and I thought you answered it perfectly by what you said. So when people say, what's my purpose in life? Well, here it is. It's to love yourself unconditionally. It's to understand that everything is in alignment for your growth. And everything the quote says pretty much is the purpose for just about everybody's life, I guess.
Mhm. Absolutely. We tried to give something that was all encompassing as much as possible, But this is the thing, and we say it over and over and over again. Love thyself. On the pyramids in what you call Egypt, it says, know thyself. It's very prophetic. Know thyself. So, once again, don't have the fear of looking at what you created that you don't want. Look at it, face it, and say to it, you no longer serve me. Therefore, I am no longer in need of you. And let it go, you see. But some people like to hang on to little hurts. They'll remember, you took my dime when we were 10 years old. And you never gave it back to me.
I know people just like that. They spend their whole life pulling themselves down.
Absolutely.
I call that wallowing. And I think people do that as a form of wanting to get attention. And
Crying out for help.
Yeah, I think it's more that they need help,
Crying out
and
for help me.
yeah, they're very needy
But see, you
people.
don't want to go into,
Judgment either.
you don't want to go into judgment, you don't want to go into blame, you don't want to go into
Sympathy
sacrifice
and
and
sympathy and yeah.
you know. And see, when you go into sympathy and sacrifice for you're sacrificing yourself for someone, you're not loving yourself. So therefore, the very person that you are sacrificing for can't love you either.
Mhm.
So therefore, you create all kinds of further challenges. But it's okay because you wanted it. If you didn't want it, if you didn't feel that,
You wouldn't keep it.
right, or you wouldn't have created it in the first place.
First place. Hmm.
So that's why we say if you've created it, you've taken the time to create this reality. So then take the time to uncreate it.
And if it takes you a little longer than you thought,
It's okay.
it's okay.
Time is an illusion anyway.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. So I mean, it's just do that.
But do it.
Yes, that's the thing. Like some people, they're, what do you call them? Hoarders? They hoard in their house.
mhm.
And I know that Kathleen, you and Greta have facilitated for people who have that condition, but they look at everything. When we accompany you with the facilitations for people, we say, don't look at the whole thing. It's too much for a human mind to figure out where am I going to do all this. So what do is you create to be overwhelmed and you sit down and you do nothing
Mhm.
because that's all you can do. Because you look at it and you say, oh, this is too much for me. This is too much for me to fathom. Don't even tell me anymore about it. I can't take it. you know. But what you can do is you go in and you look at a little corner and you say, I'm going to take care of this corner. So we're saying that to you to say you have a reality that you want to change. It may appear like it's overwhelming you. Don't take it all. Do it bit by bit.
Baby
Solve a little
steps.
portion, yes. Save a little portion, do a little portion of it. Step back and revel in what you accomplished. So then you go back and you take another little portion. It's the same thing as eating that cheesecake.
I have not had cheesecake in 3 weeks. I'm very proud of myself. I gave it up. And I lost 12 pounds. So,
Oh, good for you, Carol.
Oh,
All right.
look at
yeah.
you, Carol, talking about what you changed within your life. Now, do you know why you gained the weight?
I think I thought I was protecting myself. And I've
What?
been working on
What?
from past occupations, let's say. And I realized I had to use Greta to help me to examine why I fired myself and why I put on all this extra weight. And, we got to the nitty gritty of it. And now I talk to my body every day and I tell it, thank you for protecting me, but I don't need your protection anymore. And I've given up the sweets. That was my addiction, I guess you could call it. I always craved sweets. And I just said, I'm not going to crave them anymore. So hence no more cheesecake. Man, was I going through a lot of cheesecake. But, little by little, it's coming off.
Yeah,
And
that's good. But see,
yeah,
that's the
I'm working at
important
it.
thing. That's the important thing you said. You said two things, little by little.
Hmm.
See, it doesn't have to be big by big or gigantic by gigantic. It can be little by little. But you want to be consistent.
And it also
Right.
starts with, do you really want to let the weight go? Do you really want to
Exactly.
let go while you were protecting yourself? Because it starts, like you would say, Realm, with the thought. Because people make those New Year resolutions, I'm gonna lose 100 pounds, and they gain 100, because they haven't dealt with why they put the weight on from the
In the
door
first place.
in the first place. And
Yep.
once you decide, and I've learned to tell the difference between when I have decided something. Once I know I've made that decision, it's a done deal for me. But there are some things where I've made a decision, but I can tell I'm not through with it yet because it isn't completely gone, and so I keep getting up and I keep doing what I know is practicing loving myself, and it's working for me, and I'm doing it my way, and I'm enjoying the journey.
Kathleen, you're my inspiration.
Thank you, Carol. You're my inspiration too. So it's
That's wonderful.
just being honest with the audience. It takes work. It doesn't take, you do what you. I've stopped saying, ooh, when I look at myself in the mirror, go, nope, excuse me, nope. I've always been a beautiful woman, and I keep right on stepping.
Good for you. You definitely are.
Yes. That means that you are reaching at what we had talked about earlier. You are reaching into your divinity,
Yeah.
your divine part, your divine essence. That is absolutely, positively gorgeous.
Because that's what I say, Carol. I'm experiencing being a divine being, and I vibe high. I took the
I
realm
need
thing.
to add that adjective into my affirmation. I think that was very
I
good.
am the force itself. I am the force itself, and I'm still working. Look. I have decided that since I will never die, well, there is no death; it's an illusion.
Right.
I have so many moments all around me where I can continue to explore, enjoying being myself and practicing my divinity, and learning that, understanding that I am the force and that I'm creating everything. And I just want to be able to sit there and do like Bewitched, just go ding, ding, ding. There it is. That's when I know.
Yeah. Unfortunately, and I think I've said,
look. I dream a genie.
Oh yeah, she couldn't show her belly button though.
However, we're doing it anyway, Carol, because we just don't see that we're doing it.
Exactly.
Because I'm creating to see you. I'm creating to see Greta. Well, actually, I'm creating to see the realm through Greta.
Through Greta.
And I'm creating to see myself. So
exactly.
I am ding.
Thank you for including us.
Oh, you're most welcome.
Thank you so much. We know that we're coming to the end, but we just want to say to people, to the audience, don't go into the valley of condition, is our suggestion. What is the valley of condition? That is going into the rabbit hole with Alice. Sitting down there drinking tea, commiserating, and saying, woe is me. Because the woe does not do anything but woe. That is all it's going to do. But it will, while you're in the rabbit hole, the woe may bring you the rabbit. And then if you keep on woeing, then you're going to bring the Mad Hatter. And then if you still decide to woe, 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 then you're going to bring the Queen of Hearts.
The Queen of Hearts, who chops off your head.
Absolutely. So before you go, whoa, we suggest you say, oh my, look what I did. Let me see why I did that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have to do it again. And if you do it again, don't beat up on yourself. You're not a punching bag.
There you go.
Do not beat up on yourselves. Love yourselves. Appreciate the divinity that each one of us has, regardless of what we display to others. Remember, that's the personality. That's not the true essence of the individual. So we
Absolutely.
go in peace, we go in love, we go in appreciation of your divinity, we go in oneness, and we love all of you unconditionally. Let you lead lives of peace and ease and joy. And enjoy the journey. It's a journey. Just go with the flow. Thank you.
I love that. I love those words exactly. Well, listeners, it's been another hour and another week, and happy holidays to those of you celebrating holidays this weekend. We'd like to thank Greta. We'd like to thank Kathleen. We'd like to thank Transformation Talk Radio. And of course, we'd like to thank the Realm of Beings. And most importantly, we want to thank you, listeners, for tuning in and giving us support. Until we create each other again, have a wonderful week.
Once again, thanks for joining us at Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings on TransformationTalkRadio.com. As you have explored today's creation of reality experience with the realm and me, Greta, each of you is being supported by us in further developing the understanding that you are not just an individual existing in linear time and space, but a multi-dimensional force of infinite possibilities who is connected to all. So begin to create the realities you want. Join us every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Shifting Impressions at TransformationTalkRadio.com. So long until we create each other again next Friday.